Shawty, if you wanna vibe, yeah, you can hit me on the gram. Yeah, you ain't even gotta lie. Yeah, girl, I know you got a man. Yeah, put some drink in my cup.
Hey everybody, it's the Texas Fish Pro Lady, and today's episode is a special episode for me because, well, I've reached a YouTube milestone this week where I've reached over 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 hours of watch time. So this week I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be eligible to be a professional YouTuber. I'm super excited and I'm super grateful. Thank you all. Continue to watch, subscribe, and like my videos, and follow me on Facebook, and living the dream. So today, for today's episode, I am excited because I am finally replacing my old rod and reels. I gotta be honest, these reels are at least 20 years old. I need to step up my game a little bit. These are still usable, but getting to be on their last legs. So today I'm going to be talking about and spooling up my new Penn reel and rod combos. You can find these on the Facebook page, and these upgraded rods are going to help me. I'll be able to do, I think, both bay and deep water, near shore. They're a foot longer. I have seen reviews online talking about the rods breaking. I do really like this. Of course, I like to have everything color coordinated. I am a chick. I love the color of these blue rods, but if they don't stand up to the tests that I put them through, I will keep these reels and just replace those rods. Thank you to Rad Reeling Fishing for his excellent review of these Penn Wrath reels. So this is a lot of fun because my birthday is right around the corner, and this is a nice birthday gift to myself. I like to have 2 rod setups. You know, anything more than that is really too much to manage, especially on a jet ski. I like the 2 because then I can have one line with a float on it, drifting a shrimp underneath, and then I like to have another one with like more of a bottom rig. So that way I can kind of be working 2 different sections of the water column. It's always good to have a backup, right? I mostly drift, sometimes I anchor. I can have one line, you know, down on the bottom on one end of the ski, and then I can have the other line and be actively managing that one, like the floating one, so that I can be ready if something happens. So I want to give a big shout out to Tackle Junkie 81. He's a bass fishing guy, but I watched his video on how to spool a fishing rod, and I ended up creating my own rod spooling setup. This particular item was from a sailing group that I volunteered with, and we put on a knot tying class, and so one of our members made these plywood knot tying machines to practice your different knots on, which I do use. It's got a little cleat down here. I took my knot tying machine here, and then I added this screw on the front that fits through the hole in the bottom of my fishing line reel. I do still prefer the monofilament line. These are Trilene Big Game monofilaments. So these are these Penn brand Wrath spinning reels and rods made by Penn. You can purchase these from my shop on my Facebook page. Let's check that. That's correct. Now it is moving up and down, but it's the baler. It's the baling mechanism that's actually spinning around the reel. You can see the logos here. That logo's not moving when I'm reeling. This baler is spinning clockwise. What you need to do on your spooling station is make sure that the line is spinning in the same direction. I'm gonna pull out enough line so that I can thread it through the eyelets on the rod before I unleash it, because of course, if you're familiar with bird nests or bait casters, a bird's nest is something you do not want in your line, not only because it's a pain in the butt to work it all out, but it also stretches if you're a monofilament user like me, it stretches your monofilament and bends it and folds it, creases it, and these lines have memory. So once you get some creases and bad things in there, that line's going to keep fouling up on you all the time because it's got those kinks in the memory. So it's always good. I've found it's always good, to put as much line on your reel as you can, just so that even when you do get those hard kinks and bird's nests in your line, you can pull out enough line to get past that area and then just cut it and re-thread it through the eyelets and get that section of that line out, so that you're not running into trouble with it when the action is happening. I'm going to get this line down through all these eyelets, thread this down through all the eyelets here, which is going back to my little station there. And then once I've done that, I'm going to need some more line here to keep going. Make sure that your line is coming off the spooler in the same direction that your baler turns, and mine is clockwise because I prefer my handle on the left-hand side through all the eyelets. I also need scissors here or clippers to trim off the end of that line where I just tied it onto the reel and trim that down before I begin spooling my line on here. So let's cut that real quick. Nice and short. If you're filling up the spool, then as you do have tangles or like where I live here, we have lots of oyster beds and things, so it's not uncommon to get hung up, or down at the jetties you can get caught on some riprap or barnacles. It's not uncommon, and you'll stretch that monofilament and get some kinks in the memory there. But if your reel is full when you start the season, or then you can just cut the damaged line off. So these have an anti-reverse feature in the reel, in the bearing, an anti-reverse bearing, which I'm also excited about. All right, so I've got that tied on there. Let's put the baler down and make sure this is reeling on tight. May need to start that over. Go back to here. Put that baler down. Here we go. Definitely getting some line on there. Anytime I like, if I'm working out a bird's nest out of my line, or whatever is going on here, I just grab that line between my fingers and I hold it against the rod there to help keep it tight between the reel and the line because you also don't want any bird's nest down here, because if you get a bird's nest in the line where it's spooling on the reel, that's going to get hung up, it's going to get tangled up, you're going to have more problems. So this has to be super tight here, and once you get it on there nice and tight, it'll stay that way as long as you keep the line tight between here and where it goes up through the eyelets. Looking good so far. I'm going to turn the drag up even more. There we go. Oh, now we're booking. I'm going to burn my fingers in a second if I'm not careful. Uh-oh, what's going on up there? A little too loose down here. Good mess. Oh, already got a knot, look. So it's already got the memory just from being wrapped around the reel. That's enough for tangles and stuff. I think it also must be wrapped around the end of the rod here. So let's fix that. And keep reeling. And that's, shoot, I have this problem. We all have this problem with everything from water hoses to electrical cords. I'm a videographer, so I've got all this lighting gear, and you can just see, look at this coming, it's just coming off the spool like that. And you get those twists, it's really stored kinetic energy. And it causes, that's what causes bird nest. So, maybe I should, let that out. I can let that out too. Let's wrap this back up here tightly and tighten that back up a little. It's going to be impossible to get all that out, but take some of the slack out and see if that helps. Put that back on my new spooling station. And this is all still looking really good here. So I'm gonna keep going. And I find it easier just to hold that line against the rod. That way you can hold the rod and spin. Reel. Spin and reel. Darn ceiling fan. I'm gonna break the rod in here. Let's see. Keep going here. And there's my tag. Save that. When going on here.
Go ahead and be a freak, baby. You can dip low. It's just you and me. Nobody even gotta know. A pocket full of green and a blood full of smoke. Gasoline in my lungs and throat. Better let me be. It's a do my thing. Coming down clean, nigga, feeling so mean.
Yeah, look at that. That's all that stored kinetic energy. And what I don't want to have happen is to have these kinks here stay in the memory of the monofilament, because it will permanently bend that monofilament into that shape forever. Maybe too late. That's why it's always good to keep the slack out as well. But didn't do too good there. Remember, this is my first time doing this myself.
Find me in a fly seat with a fine freak. I never let it all go to waste, man. Like an old head surfing at the bar with his hand out saying, hey, let me get a taste, man. In my old school with the V8 pedal to the metal, hoping that the cops don't chase me.
I need to hold both of these.
And I'm feeling so fly. Oh my gosh, you know I ride. Coming down with the pretty brain, you know I'm fly.
But yeah, you really see this stored kinetic energy effect in electrical cords, because you've got your wiring inside that carries the electrical current, and they have a very high memory for bends, kinks, like I learned in film school and in live on-set production. You can't just take you don't want to just take any audio or video or power cords and just wrap them around your wrist, like old school, like everybody used to do, because you're bending all those electrical wires inside the sheath, inside the cabling, and you can eventually break those wires, will break. From doing that over and over again. So you learn the right way to spool or to reel anything electrical or conductive, so that you're not twisting and bending all those cables inside. And it's really interesting too, because back in the old days of old Hollywood, when and that was a job in itself, is just managing the lines. Once you learn how to roll up a line, and this works for sailing as well, you don't want to keep kinking up your sailing lines. Once you learn how to pick it up and roll it properly, suddenly you have a new tool, which is what they call a stinger. And it's called a stinger because, and maybe I can show you real quick with this line. So let's say back in the old days, you might have thought you were going to take it and wrap it around your elbow, because this is really quick and easy, right? If you don't give a crap about your line or your cable or whatever it is that you're doing that on, sure, go ahead and wind it up like that. But you're adding all this twisting, and that's what will eventually break it. Or if you're sailing, you end up with a line that's totally distorted because you have all that stored kinetic energy is stored in the line. So the right way is to roll the line, or the water hose, or the cable, or whatever you're working with, so that it doesn't have all that memory and that kinetic energy stored in the line. And what happens is, now you have a line that's totally straight, just like I need to have this line on my reel, and that way when you get ready to use it, it just comes apart really fast. And they call that a stinger, because if it's a big heavy electrical cable like audio or video cable and it hits you, you can release it so quickly it hurts when it pops you. But let's make sure everything's still rolling here. I'm about halfway through spooling this reel, and I'm so excited that I'm doing it myself. Let's keep going and finish this. They probably, on the units they use at Academy to spool reels, they probably have things to help with this kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe not. I do think it's a machine where they can just put the stuff on it and set it to a certain speed or whatever and just let it run. Because I think the last time I did it, they may have done it while I waited, even though I thought I was going to have to drop them off and leave them. Hey, I'm finally to the point where I don't have, oh no, there's all the slack. Did you see all that? Come unwound like that. Oh, Lordy. My studio is very small, so it's hard to do all of this in here, especially with these new rods that are so big. They're huge. But I do want to fill up these reels. No doubt I have more than enough line here. And if I do go offshore, near shore, I am going to have to undo that. It's getting bad. Let me see. What direction it needs to go. And just do this by hand and unkink. See all that? See all that in that line there? Ah, that would have been a mess. Okay, that's better. It's just from it being wound around there and sitting for who knows how long. Who knows, this monofilament might even still be warm when they're spooling it, although I'm sure they have a very good process. But no matter how well you take care of your lines, there's always going to be some of that play. Look, again there, gotta keep going. Keep going. Shit, almost lost that again. I guess the perfect machine would be something that would not only have a tensioner to keep the tension on the spool, but would also rotate the spool in the direction that, as it's unwinding, you don't have those kinks build up like that. Go one more time here and back to tight. Yeah, like some kind of break here. I guess I could, I don't know. This is very rudimentary here, but I'm almost done and it's looking good, so I'm just going to keep going with that without hitting the ceiling fan. It might help also if this were further away.
Without commitment, you'll never start, but more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy, keep working, striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
There was this quote that my
Gotta
mom
keep an
would
eye on
say,
that reel, make sure none of those kinks or folds get wrapped down like that. So far, so good.
Make sure you're using them every day. People try to break me though, put me in a box and gate me, yo. Lock me into a spot so I'm unable to grow, I'm unable to breathe.
Ooh, starting to burn my fingers. Getting tight up here.
Dream that I'm chasing, trying to run away and I'm trying to be patient, trying to keep focused with time that I'm wasting. Whoever made the rules for this was too cool to
Wrapped
school,
around.
I was too cool to learn. You can get what you earn, but that wasn't written off in the manuscript. Life give you a lot, you can handle it. Life tore me apart, dismantled him. It messed with my head, they gave me some broken eggs, so I put them in the pot and I scrambled them.
What has happened here? Loop. Got caught around the second eyelet. It's kind of hard doing this in this little studio of mine. It'll be much easier in my garage, but it is just so hot I can't film outside right now except when I'm riding on the water. We've had many over 100 days, record days we've said. I know it's not just us either. Watching Europe deal with it as well. Almost there. Looking good. Getting full. Let's see. I don't want it to be fuller than the width of the reel, because I don't want overhang. Whew, getting the arm workout with these newer, bigger rods. Keep going just a little bit more there.
Everybody seem to forget until they regret that. We would never let up till we beat the feet. Getting so loud, surrounded by all these voices. We stay to make music.
Yeah, definitely only needed one spool of this tri-line. But that's okay, because I have two of these reels I need to spool, and then I'll have some extra on hand that I can keep in my tackle box. Uh-oh. So I just got that wrapped around, so I have to back that out. That's unacceptable there. Okay, I think I got it out. Put the baler back down, tighten that back up. Now I can pick that up. That's going to be the end anyways, because I can definitely see I'm getting close to the edge of the reel. That's got to be more than enough line. If something is going to be pulling my line that far, it's going to have to be cut off, because that could be dangerous in deep water. Actually, it could be dangerous in shallow water too. All right. I'm ready to call that one done. Let's see if I have enough line to 1 Need just a little bit of line out of that. A little bit more. So I can lock this line here. The reels have this little spot where you can insert the line underneath and hold it down. See how you can take that line without any tackle on it and pull it up underneath that little tab there, and that'll hold your line taut for you until you're ready to add some tackle to it. Well, I'm calling that done for this reel. And I won't put y'all through the agony of watching me spool another one. But I'm super excited to try my new rod and reel combos. This is nicer than anything I've ever had. And let's just read off a few other features here real quick while I'm sitting here. So it's ambidextrous. We've got an ambidextrous handle, which means you can put it on either side depending on which way you like to reel. For me, I do reel on with my left hand, and but this is made to be used on either side. Let's see, we've also got, what else is going on here? Well, they are beautiful. They're made by Penn. You can find these rod and reel combos in the shop on my Facebook page. If you go to the Texas Fish Pro Lady on Facebook, these are in the catalog, the rod and reel combo. And I was worried these handles might not fit in my rod holders, but on my Fish Pro, but I checked it and they do. And let's see what else. What other features? So the guide is titanium oxide. It's a front drag. It says it's engineered to be a versatile all-around combo at an affordable price. Features EVA grips. I haven't taken all the packaging off this one yet. There's some directions there I want to read. And graphite composite rods, stainless steel guides, which would be these. What else? With titanium oxide inserts. Reels feature a lightweight and corrosion-resistant graphite body with a stainless steel bearing system. This saltwater setup is up to the challenge, and with two-piece rods that are easy to take anywhere. What else we got here? Of course, the anti-reverse bearing. A machined and anodized aluminum spool. So this whole spool is aluminum, which makes it less heavy for lots of fishing. And what else? This is the 5000 combo. Looks like most of these features are all standard on these rod and reel combos, and they do have a large selection of weights and sizes. I ended up with the 5000 because it was in between lightweight and heavy. And my old rods were nice and good, but they're fairly lightweight. So, you know, when I've gone fishing down at the Galveston jetties and stuff, I don't feel quite as comfortable with those rods there, because if I were to hook onto a big bull red, you know, I don't know how I haven't broken them yet. Well, I did break the one. Let's see what else we got. So last but not least, and y'all don't laugh here, I know y'all already laughing at me. I bought these, you know, riding on the Sea-Doo Fish Pro. That ski can go up to 60 miles an hour, depending on conditions. And I have also learned, thank goodness, with my old little rods, that when I've had it for the day, the bite's gone dead, it's getting hot or whatever, I'm ready to move to another area or ready to just go ride and burn some gas and have fun, that I've learned that keeping your rods, and I keep mine in the back just to keep them out of my way when I'm not using them. Your tackle, like my float, my line and everything, it does get super wound up from the inertia of the skiing, especially at full speed. Everything gets wrapped around the pole, and again, like I was talking about earlier, then you end up with all these kinks and things in your line and the memory. So these rod sleeves have gotten really popular, and I finally ordered some, and they're from China. It took forever, but they finally got here, and of course, you know, they don't fit this rod. But I put it on and I found that it does go below the first eyelet, and that's usually where I hook my tackle when I'm done, when I'm putting my rod up for travel and storage and cleanup and all that. I usually hook the hook right here on this first eyelet. And so I took these short rod sleeves, and well, I'm able to just put it down there over that last eyelet. So I thought, well, maybe these will work, and maybe that'll be better because they're on here nice and tight. They're not going to blow away with them being hooked over that big eyelet there. My hook will be in there, the line will all be in there, and more aerodynamic, less drag. It's kind of funny looking. I'm going to try them for the first time when I go out with these rods for the first time. We'll see if they stay on. Probably ought to order some others for backup, but I thought they looked kind of sporty like that. They almost look like, you know, something you might put on a horse's tail or your rugby stick. Or some kind of racing sporty thing. So it came with 3 of these, and I'm going to give them a shot and see how that works, because it does look kind of cool like that. But that's by accident, so more accidents happening as I speak. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a day Here is my new awesome Penn Wrath fishing rod and reel combos. Oh my God, that's not even been on. So yeah, I'm super excited to get out on the water with these. I'm excited. I've already been plotting out my float plan to go grab some blue water soon, hopefully at the end of this month. I think we might be having a new moon coming. I need to check that again, but it's going to be good fishing days at the end of July, which we're almost there. Can you believe summer is already half over? But again, get on my Facebook page for the Texas Fish Pro Lady, and you can find these rod and reel combos in my catalog, and I'll be reporting back, and you'll be seeing how well these work. So thanks again to everybody for helping me get past this milestone with YouTube this week, having the opportunity to become a professional YouTube. I mean, this is a dream come true. They taught us this stuff in film school. I never took it seriously, but I really do now. And again, it's thanks in part to y'all all watching and subscribing, liking my videos, all the comments I've received from everyone. Stay tuned for more Texas Fish Pro Lady. Texas Fish Pro Lady signing out. Thank you again. Bye.
Baby.